Welcome to a reading. Welcome back for all of you that have been here before. I just recorded an hour-long full moon reading that I'm posting to my Patreon. So all of you that are interested in that, head over to my Patreon. I have everything linked below. I felt guided to lead one of the oracle cards out that came through in the Patreon reading. So I actually want to read more into this. It's an energy around your heart chakra, opening, certain hurts and disappointments dissolving. That can lead to heart chakra opening. It's just basically the focus here is on your heart space. And your heart space is often connected to your emotions, to relationships, to romance, to love, to abundance, your relationship to abundance, your relationship with God. So yeah, let me just pull a few cards on that. And I'm just going to see what comes through. These readings are timeless, just to remind you. So even if you come across this like weeks or even years later, there may be a message in here for you. So please don't worry about time. Not that I feel like you do, but it's just good to remind you. So I got a Princess of Swords in reverse, I got Justice, and I got the Eight of Wands in reverse. Okay, this specifically is in combination. This I instantly got from this, waiting on a message from someone that isn't reaching out to you. Can you tell me why Justice is upright? Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, some of you are waiting or have been waiting on someone reaching out to you that just never did. And that in itself has been like disappointing, or is bringing up emotions and feelings of disappointment. But actually what Spirit wants you to know, or if we zoom out of the whole thing, it's actually gonna lead you to the version of you that is sort of, I'm seeing a go-getter, I'm seeing someone very responsible, even like taking responsibility for their own life, taking responsibility for their own trajectory, for their own decisions, for their own mistakes. Like, it's putting you in a very powerful energy. But it seems like the catalyst, like you could or apparently have been dealing with a catalyst, because it's like this specific person didn't or couldn't give you something which at the time, or even a part of you still believes like you needed to feel full and complete and whole. And that in itself, like I already said, brought you on a path that led you to becoming this version. So I can read this. That's why maybe I needed to mention the whole thing about time, like not worrying about time, because what I wanted to add there is that you're a multidimensional being. Meaning, let's say you work with me, when we do the realignment sessions, I work with you on a multidimensional level, meaning we address a specific issue at the time that it occurred, and the specific issue could have occurred in this lifetime, maybe in childhood, maybe as a teenager, and or even before that, in past life, but also in a future lifetime. That's where it gets can get a bit like woo-woo. But that's ultimately the meaning of being a multidimensional being, is that we can work and tap into parts of you from different times, past, present, future. So specifically here, the reading that came through with this person, that's why I was telling you, it's like either this already occurred a long time, and now you are in a Queen of Pentacles energy. Now you are that go-getter. Now you are the one that is providing everything yourself that you wished or needed someone else to do for you at one point. And all those of you that are in the energy of like disappointment, somebody's not reaching out that you thought you would by now, thus feeling disappointed. It's like this could now be the catalyst, or set you on the trajectory of where you become, or will recognize yourself as a Queen of Pentacles down the line. So again, if it's the whole thing with time is confusing, I apologize, but I think most of you will get the concept. And also with the readings being timeless, so it's possibly you're gonna come back to this in a few months and be like, oh yeah, this is exactly what it put me on. So Queen of Wands I'm seeing as well. As a general message, it's just showing how things that seemingly are going wrong, relationships not turning out the way you may have hoped or wished them to, at times, actually, it not working out is for your highest good. And especially with catalyst, I do feel the need to just talk a bit about catalyst, because catalyst, whenever you meet a catalyst, it can come exactly with a lot of disappointments. It can come a lot with a lot of pain as well, because you're not meant to be with that person. They're catalysts, meaning they will come in your life and then leave again when whatever they needed to activate within you occurred. So this is where what causes the most suffering is actually the attachment. When you feel attached to them, when you feel attached to them emotionally, when you feel attached to them spiritually, this is as well what I, just from my experience, tend to feel like the twin flame narrative there is problematic. I will bang on to this until the end of my days, probably. I might become the anti-twin flame hero. I don't really want to don that. But because you form attachments. You form attachments, and then you have someone telling you, or a medium or channel, or through wherever it comes from, someone telling you this is, just making the relationship way more significant than what actually serves you. So there's a reason I'm talking about this. Maybe you sort of got trapped into that narrative, and it's sort of it sort of does the opposite of teach you about detachment. Because again, what I got is that detachment to this specific person that apparently has not reached out yet, or is not reaching out, is what is causing suffering. And of course, on some levels, it also shows that you care. I understand that, because I've just got someone starting to argue with me and be like, well, yeah, I care. It's not easy to detach, which is understandable, but that's why that in itself can, that's why this situation itself can put you on the trajectory of what we already talked about, of you stepping in the Queen of Pentacles energy. Queen of Pentacles energy doesn't really need anything from anyone. And that was also a big topic that came through in the full moon reading today. So you can check that out on Patreon, like I already told you. I'm just going to pull more cards. Four of Cups, the Sun, the spoken sideways, and Judgment in reverse. Yeah, I understand why we talk about the twin flame. Not only twin flame, but there just seems to be a general energy. Like, this reading is about you not fully seeing a situation for what it actually is. And it's understandable. Like, that's why I was telling you, I can like pick up on the time sort of being spread over a longer period, where right now you may be sitting in the disappointment. So of course you're not gonna see yet, oh, actually this brought me closer to the version of who is independent, who is self-sufficient, who is whole and fulfilled by themselves. Like, it's like you don't see that yet. You may just be feeling the disappointment. So it's sort of like encouragement to allow yourself to, even if you don't believe it yet, but allow yourself to at least believe or have faith that when things don't work out, it may still be for your highest good, or it is for your highest good, whether you see it or not. Can you tell me more? The Hermit in reverse, the Devil in reverse. That's just underlying what I was telling you about detachment. Because when a devil is upright, you're very, very attached. Like, when a devil is upright, can speak of being attached to the point where you're obsessed. And that's why I'm saying a lot of people that sort of lock into the twin flame narrative are actually just very, very obsessed, very, very attached to a specific connection, that they give so much significance that it literally rules their lives at times. So that sort of then is actually the opposite of a Queen of Pentacles upright, because it can make you more dependent. It can make you constantly tune into that. What is the other person doing? What is the other person thinking? When are we going to be together? What do I need to what do I need to do to be together with this person? Like, it's tiring. I'm even hearing, aren't you tired? So it may be really few people that tune in and just resonate with that. That's what you're doing. Like, you may not have someone tell you as of yet, or you may have had no one tell you that actually you're attached, and some of you are borderline obsessed. So it's just a question of how much that is serving you, because like I said, judgment is in reverse. So it's like you're not seeing a blind spot, or you may not be seeing how that is harming you, because there's so many people that are locking into that. And then, we often lean towards, like, how do I explain this? Like, the same as can be with with friendship groups. We often lean towards people that actually enable certain behaviors or certain beliefs within us. It's just a form of comfort. Like, imagine let's say you have a drinking problem, but you don't see it as a drinking problem, or you can avoid looking at it as a drinking problem because every day you're hanging out with people that have the same problems. So nobody's going to tell you in your face, like, actually, I've been noticing that this and this and that. So that could be another message for someone who resonates with that. Is also often also why, let's say, someone coming out of addiction cannot hang out with certain people anymore, exactly for that reason, or has to avoid people that are still inactive. So yeah, there's a reason I'm talking about this. Maybe you're sensing this in different areas in your life. Maybe this is like, it can be in any can be in any community. It can also happen in spiritual communities, where everyone is like sort of spiritual bypassing and avoiding talking about something that we actually would be good if we could, dive into. So it's just, I feel like this is going to hit a chord in different people for different reasons. But these readings as well, sometimes they just serve to do exactly that, to activate a part within you, or trigger a part within you. And then the process that comes about is going to be very individual and very sort of private even. So yeah, I'm just going to keep reading for you. I mean, we have two cards that I see that are showing that there are certain, I want to say certain processes occurring, or even decisions that are being that would be like good for you to make, but either you're not seeing the blind spot, and or you're not willing to sit with what is being brought up, and that is sort of keeping you in a loop that is tied to disappointment and suffering. I heard self-harm as well. Don't know who that was for, but I mean, self-harm isn't always just the obvious ways we do it, whether it's with, self-harm as in like, okay, I'm gonna take this tool, I'm gonna harm myself. It's not always that obvious. We can harm ourselves in very subtle ways, just by making bad decisions, or making decisions that are harmful and hurt us, and are, aligned with, or that are coming from out of low self-worth, low self-esteem. So we often find ourselves in situations, or have to deal with the consequences of having made those decisions. And that in itself is everyone, I would say every human being, it's a part of every human being's learning curve in their own way. What stands out is how you deal with that, how you deal with the consequences, how do you deal with having harmed yourself. Do you recognize it, or is it going to become like a self-perpetuating, endless, vicious cycle? And that's why, again, here, this can be a part of, we're talking about the twin flame narrative, but any narrative that actually causes you harm, meaning it makes you feel worse and it actually makes you feel better, ties into this. That's a form of self-harm. And of course, we have to go to places sometimes that are painful if we want to sit with what is coming up, or we need to process something, or we're doing shadow work. That in itself can be very painful. So it's not like, don't go to where it's painful, but if it becomes like, if it's So whenever, like, self-harm is when it doesn't, let's say shadow work, you go somewhere painful, but you transmute it often through your heart, and then you feel better. But like self-harm is just constantly feels bad, doesn't get better, often it just gets worse. So then okay, it might not, I may be avoiding something, or I just may be really making decisions that are just not good for me. And you have a clear navigation system there. Like, that's all it takes is for you to, like, your feelings, tuning in, okay, I feel good now, would speak of you having made good decisions for yourself. Like, you've been moving in alignment, you've been making the right decisions for yourself. Does you feel good? If you feel bad, opposite, you've been moving in a way, you've been making decisions, you've been feeding into things that make you feel bad, like that haven't been good for you. It's as simple as that. We just overcomplicate everything. I just heard someone say, I don't have a choice. No, you do have a choice. If you're saying you don't have a choice, that's a form of victimhood. That's a victim mentality. That's you giving away your power. If you say I don't have a choice, then you're basically saying I'm helpless in this situation. I have no power. So yeah, there's a lot coming up. I mean, everything that's coming up, anything you can work with me on literally anything. It can be a physical issue, it can be a mental issue, it can be a spiritual issue, it can be like I feel disconnected from my spirit guides, I feel disconnected from God. Anything, I'm having paranormal experiences, I'm not sleeping well, I'm not eating, like anything we can work with. And then what would be interesting, could be interesting for you to just see what it's actually tying towards. Like say we're working together on the issue where you recognize, yeah, I've been harming myself due to this, like that's what I've been doing. We can find out when it started, and we can find out what's the underlying cause, like why have you been making these decisions. And it's I want to say it's a specific type of work because it will draw in exactly those of you that have just like, that's an ongoing theme in your life, like you want to understand things. And you may not get all the answers in the session in itself, but you can trigger, or it can activate you in a way where you start being able to put certain puzzle pieces in your life together. So it's very interesting work. I love it. It's so thorough and precise, and corrective as well. Like it will correct, it can, like the correction can occur from you understanding why you're doing certain things. It can occur in other ways as well, but that's just like our awareness. That's why also readings can be helpful in different ways, in other way, but often it's just awareness, because you become aware of something that you may have not been aware before. And it's not always comfortable. Like if that power of the twin flame like hit a chord, of course that can be really uncomfortable. But it's the truth. Like I put a lot of, when I do the opening prayer, like I want to deliver truth, because often we don't get that. Also depending what area you're working, or who you hang out with, or when you're a celebrity and you have like an entourage and they're all just saying yes, 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 like truth is valuable, and we don't often get a lot of it. And one reason as well, because we can also choose to avoid the truth due to who we choose to be around with, or what we choose to sort of, it's just coming through as like a reminder. Like one example is, if you have a belief system, let's say all men are shit, or all men cheat, or all people, like people are cheaters, everyone, no one is like, men, women are not loyal. If that's like if that's a belief that you have running on a often unconscious level, we choose to then attract, like we somehow attract those people that validate that belief. So then you have a relationship where you get cheated on, and it's like, oh, see, I was right all along. So the same can be with your algorithm. Let's say you're on social media, you have a thought, you may come across like that's the whole game of resonance, like attraction even. So what you will find is if you work on something and you change the way you see it, or it's been brought to your awareness and we correct it, it can also change, like for example, it can change your feed, like the feedback that you get from your physical reality will change from that. It's basically just a rundown of how precise and energetic work can shift things at a quantum level. So it will be instantaneously, but your system may take some time to catch up to what actually changed, because also the feedback, it takes some time for the feedback in your physical reality to follow. But anyway, we're like in the quantum field, we're talking about the quantum field right now. I just want to see more. What else do you need to know? King of Cups sideways, the Emperor, Temperance. Well, this is specifically what is being brought up now to your attention is some daddy issues. Like it's coming through as issue, like your relationship to your father or father figure in your life, how it's affecting the men you're choosing. Which I want to say is common knowledge as well for a few of us. So I just want to see how it's affecting you. It just seems like, yeah, someone here is manifesting, someone here is choosing solely based off of like lust, or solely based off of attraction and chemistry, but it then seems to turn out to be someone who cannot offer you at an emotional level what would actually make you feel safe and chosen and cared for and admired and adored. And it seems tied to, yeah, your father figure. So of course you don't have a sexual relationship with your father, although if some of you have had that, like had sexual abuse or abuse at that level, that of course would also like rewire you in a way where you make, like that will also affect you in ways of how you choose partners. By the way, that's also something we can work on. Like, it's also always advisable to work with a therapist or in a clinical setting, or like a psychologist. But you can always on the side also work on it on an energetic level. But anyways, like whether it just seems like it just seems like you're manifesting what you don't want, like after some time and realizing I didn't want that, or I didn't want it to turn out that way. And what else do you need to know about this? Yeah, here's well, it seems like there's a lack of truth. It can also be you not being truthful with yourself, like you not being truthful with yourself that, okay, this person, I feel chemistry, or I felt chemistry at the beginning, but now after some time I'm realizing that we're not a fit. I'm attracted to them for, like, this can as well manifest in various ways. And I just had a talk with someone about this just on the phone, so don't know if this is even for you, but it just seems like, yeah, how we're not honest. This speaks of not being honest with yourself when you attract someone that you may not want to be in a relationship with them, or you may not be as attracted to them as you thought, or things changed at the beginning. Yeah, it was solely lust, we had a good time, but I don't see more, or you can't, I already feel and sense that you can't give to me an emotional, spiritual, physical, whatever level what I need. So why are you still in that relationship? Why you still have them around? And here is attachment. So attachment can also keep you in situations way past the due date. Sometimes we even get married to these people. You know, like sometimes you get married to someone and you're not, like, you can't, or you're not honest about certain things. Although that seems to be a different honeypot to dive into, because marriage, you commit to a person even when you go through periods of like, yeah, I don't feel attracted, so that's a different honeypot, because marriage is like the sanctuary. Is you have vows with someone to move through these emotions and feelings. But if you're not married, it's easier for you to bow out and be like, oh, well, I don't know how compatible we are. Like, yeah, we have great sex, but what else is there? Like, it's you have a privilege, or you have the luxury of still making a different decision, unless you're like, oh, I'm just gonna stay with. I mean, the magician in reverse can also speak of manipulation. So it can speak of you being either manipulated into believing this is someone you want to be with, and or you are somehow manipulating, gaslighting yourself for whatever reason, which I'm now hearing is also can be a form of self-harm. Because why be with someone you're not happy with, and not just a period of not being happy? Like, that's what I'm saying. Marriage is a different honeypot. I don't know how much I want to draw that into this reading, because I feel like that's a different topic. But yeah, if you're not married and this is just like, you just have the luxury of also addressing the father wounds or the father issues of why you are drawn to certain people in the first place that apparently are just not what you ultimately want. Or I mean, it's like having a buffet. You have vanilla, you have chocolate, you have strawberry. You already know you don't like strawberry, but you keep eating strawberry. Like, in that way, if you put it like that, it doesn't really make sense. But apparently that's what, whoever this reading is for, that's what you're doing. So I don't know, maybe I need to be the one that points this out. Like I said, if there's anything within this reading that sort of triggered you and you feel like, yeah, you want to work on that, I have my website is linked below, so you can just book in. You don't even have to email me beforehand. But of course, if you want to, or you have questions surrounding the work, there's always an option. You can always reach out to me first. Yeah, that's just so you know. So I always go, like, today I've been just going blank at the end. So when I start talking, I just stay for another minute or two. So I don't have anything else to say. I think this is it. I'm going to close it. Like I said, reach out, book in if you feel like you want to work on something. And we have the Patreon as well, which is like a long-term field that will also give you a lot more insight, a lot more understanding of the energy you're working with, the energy you're working through, patterns in your life that would be best to become aware of so that you can actively shift it. There you have access to group clearing. So if you don't want to work one-on-one, or you're not ready for that step, you can also see what it's like to work within a group setting. And just have the support. It's like everyone brings their own energy, and it's a really nice space because everyone is like contributing to it in their own way, even silently. So you kind of get held within a group, within a community. So that's all available to you. I have everything linked below. You'll get more information on the services I offer, and also the Sanctum on Patreon. If you just click on, it kind of leads you the way. But I think you can figure that out for yourself. So I'm here. I will be back with new readings in a couple of days. So yeah, see you then. Bye.